Okay, guys, this is the first summary class, and we will look into week 1 summary session. So let's get on to it. Okay, week 1, class 1. I will go to the slide deck directly, and then I will run through the topics. I hope everybody can see my screen properly. I hope it's not too small. Just let me know if it's too small. I'll expand it. Okay, so I'm not covering these things. What is software testing? I think you guys are quite familiar with that. Not needed. Different type of software testing. I have given a small understanding in the video. Let me know if you have any questions with that. What type of testing we perform as a part of automation testing? So basically there are two different types: regression testing and integration testing. So regression testing is the part that we are performing because of just one reason. That is, every week you will see that a new product or a new feature is getting released. When it is getting released, you must test those features, obviously, which are getting released. But along with that, you have an overhead to test any other component that particular release can break. You have to basically analyze that if a particular release is being sent to the system, along with that particular release, what other relevant components are there, and you must test them as well. It is called regression testing. So basically now your task is just not to test the new feature, but also plus related features, right? There are features. Now, this is where the automation really becomes handy, because a lot of time is taken towards testing the new feature. And then if you are spending too much time in testing the related feature, then it's quite obvious that the time consumption will be much higher. When you're testing it, you're testing just not on one single environment. When I say environment, I'm talking about it can, you probably have, if it's a web application, you have to test it in Chrome, you have to test it in Firefox, you have to test it in Edge, and then you have to test it in different combination, maybe Windows, maybe Mac, right? So how can we focus most of our testing in the new features and less focus in testing related features? The idea is that the automation will take care of testing all these situations automatically, and it will report you back if there is anything broken because of the new feature got introduced. Okay, so this is the idea behind automation. Automation is not replacing manual testing. It is a complement to the manual testing. Always remember that. Okay, nobody is replacing manual testing. The backbone of testing is manual testing, right? Because automation testing means simple thing. It cannot find a new bugs, right? It cannot explore the application on its own and figure out that there is a bug. It cannot do it. What it can do is, you can tell in the automation script is that my application is supposed to perform step 1, step 2, step 3 in order to get result A. This is the step that I'm predefining in the code. And when I'm running the code, I should be expecting, I should be getting result A as an outcome of that automation execution. If that doesn't happen, then you will get a failure report, which you can further investigate to figure it out that if the failure was a genuine failure or it was something, a temporary glitch, right? That is the whole idea behind automation testing. Automation testing can never explore an application and figure out a bug for you. It will never happen, okay? Integration testing is a situation where we are trying to understand if two or more different systems. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Someone is calling me. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Ben was not sure which link to join. Anyway, so integration testing is a different situation. The situation is this, where you are asked to test multiple application when they are not application, but multiple modules of an application if they are working fine. For example, I'm taking an example of a banking application. In the banking application, how thing happens is that, for example, you want to transfer some fund from your account to your friend's account, but your friend's account is not registered in your account profile, right? So basically there are two different modules in the situation. Number one is add beneficiary. And then you have another module, which is transfer fund, right? Now think about it. These two modules are actually exchanging the data. How? Because so for example, this is your home screen, maybe, right? Maybe this is your home screen, or maybe this is your dashboard. From the dashboard where you are seeing your current available balance, from there you are making your move to the add beneficiary screen. In the add beneficiary screen, you are providing the new beneficiary details. For example, name, for example, account number, okay? For example, SWIFT code, right? So on and so forth. And then you registered the beneficiary, right? Once you registered the beneficiary, when you're coming to the transfer page, okay, and you are trying to look for the payees, right? The payees must be picking up the information from all the beneficiaries that you have already added into the system, right? So there should be beneficiary 1, beneficiary 2. Now there is an integration, right, between these two entities. right? So you need to test these entities individually, as well as you have to test whether these two modules are working along with each other or not. This is called integration testing. You're trying to integrate two different modules to figure it out if they're working along with each other or not. And when you try to do that, the best way to test your integration is using REST APIs. So basically something called as backend web services. What is web services? We will talk in details when I reach that module, maybe in the 6th week or 7th week. No. I think it's beyond that. I think it's beyond 10th week. We will be reaching the web services testing, and that's where I talk about how the entire integration happens. But I'm just trying to, right now in this slide, I'm trying to give you guys an understanding that what are the sectors in which automation testing can be very crucial. Also, in terms of performance testing, automation testing is very, very crucial. But in this course, we are not talking about performance testing. Performance testing will detect that if your application is capable to handle a large amount of data, a large amount of requests, right? So there are things like load testing and stress testing. I don't want to go there. In our training, we are covering regression testing, integration testing, along with that DevOps. Okay. I have given you a little bit of understanding of what is automation testing used for, and we will talk more in future about it. Do you have any questions with this part? Any questions? You can just send me a chat, or you can just say thumbs up to say it's okay for you, whatever. Okay. Yeah, in the participant window, you can just say thumbs up, and then I'll be okay. All right. Good stuff. So that is good. Let's move on to the next part. Okay, why do we care to learn automation testing? I told you in the video as well. It's basically helping you to achieve high return on investment. Manual testing, especially in case of regression testing, the section that I was talking about, the regression testing, you can easily understand that if I have to have a bigger team just to perform regression testing, then my investment, the return on investment will be much lower. I need to have a small team size, and then I need to have a bigger output. Automation testing can help you do that. So obviously automation testing is required there, okay? Introduction to Java. This is from where our technical discussion starts, right? There are 3 different components to Java: Java Virtual Machine, JRE, Java Runtime Environment, Java Development Kit. Okay, what is JVM? JVM is a layer, or I can say it's a concept, okay, which is sitting on top of operating system to execute a compiled Java code. What is compilation? I said compiled Java code. What is compilation? It's quite understandable. It's quite easy to understand. That is, you are a human. You are writing your source file in simple English. Okay. Obviously, this particular source file will not be something that a machine could understand. That's the reason why you will use a compiler to compile the code, and then you make that code as a bytecode, which is understandable by the system, and then finally it gets executed in a Java virtual machine. That's all it does. Simple steps. You write the test, or write the Java code in English, but obviously certain syntax, okay? I'll say syntax. And then you compile. When you compile, you make it as a machine readable format. So basically a bytecode, right? When you say bytecode, so what exactly is bytecode? Bytecodes are nothing but it is basically converting your source file into a series of 0 and 1s. So any electronic machine works on a signal which is switch on or switch off. Switch on means 1, switch off means 0, correct? So basically it is called binary systems. So using binary systems, whatever the code you are writing, it gets changed to a series of 0 and 1s that becomes understandable by the machine so that the machine can execute it. Very simple. Okay, we don't really have to break our head like how the binary systems are working. If you want to, you can do that. It's a big chapter in engineering, right? I learned it like, maybe 14 years back. I don't use that a single day. I don't need to, right? But I'm saying if you are interested, you can definitely go ahead and dig deeper. At least the number systems, like, a number 9, how to represent this number 9 in a binary code, right? Something like this. I think it will be 1001. I think so. So let me see. Let me see if I'm saying it right. Binary systems, binary system 9, number 9. Yeah, 1001 exactly, right? So there's a reason why it is 1001. You can easily read that and figure it out. But ideally, this is what is happening. Your code is getting compiled to a bytecode, understandable by a machine, and then you execute it. You execute it in a Java virtual machine, which is an abstraction over operating system. So basically, it is very simple. Depending on whichever operating system you have, you will be installing a Java virtual machine. Basically, you will not be installing Java virtual machine. You will be installing JDK, right? You will be installing Java Development Kit, JDK, okay? Inside the JDK, you can find JRE. Inside JRE, you can find JVM, right? So this JVM is nothing but a system that will let you execute your Java code. Okay, depending on your system, depending on your operating system, you will be installing either JDK for Windows or for Mac or for Linux. And by doing so, what will happen is you will achieve portability. Portability. What is portability? It's very simple, right? Portability means you are writing the code in Windows. Your code is written in Windows, and then you are giving this code to your friend who is running a Mac. How do you think it is working? Your code is portable. You can simply write the code, give it to your friend who is using Mac. He can run it. How that is possible? It's possible because the Windows system will have their own JVM, and the Mac will have their own JVM. So it doesn't really matter what operating system you are bothered about or you're using. All it matters is that your code is compiled, and it's compiled by the Windows JVM, okay? By the compiler, not the Windows JVM, but by the compiler. And Windows JVM can execute it. And the same compiled code can be sent to the Mac JVM, and the Mac JVM can also execute it. So the JVM will take the load in exactly executing it. You don't have to worry about that, right? That is the reason why we say Java is a portable language, right? It's a portable language. So that's that. Any questions with this slide? Give me a thumbs up if there is no questions. Any, give me a thumbs up in the participant area, please. Yeah. Okay. Ben, Fola, Nikki, all good? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Good stuff. Let's move on to the next part quickly. All right. What is JRE? JRE is Java Runtime Environment. Okay. It is the actual implementation. When I say implementation, implementation means there is a group of people who are writing this concept. JVM is a concept that is being implemented or written as a part of code, okay, to basically create JRE. JRE is nothing but the JVM concept plus a set of libraries that will help you to execute your program. When I say libraries, again, nothing more than a bunch of compiled class files, Java files, right? That's all, right? So that becomes a JRE, which is basically the implementation of JVM. And why do I need JDK? JDK is basically the Java development kit, okay? So JRE is basically the system that will have nothing more than one responsibility to execute your code, your Java code, or Java compiled Java code. It will just execute it. However, JDK is the system that you need when you want to develop a Java program, okay? Because JDK comes along with a section called as dev tools. So JDK has JRE, JRE has the implementation of JVM, and JDK is also having a section called dev tools, which will let you perform different kind of operation in terms of developing an application. For example, Java compilation. You can compile the Java code using Java C, or you can execute a Java program using Java, right? And there are a few more stuff as well. Okay, debugging, all the stuff comes along with JDK. So that's how your JDK works. Okay, how Java is platform independent? I just told you, a developer writing the code in OS, Windows OS, using JDK, they can simply compile the code, give it to the friend or client who is using Mac and JRE installed. The client need not have JDK as well. Just JRE is good, and they will be able to execute the program. Okay, it's a platform independent. All right. Let's see this whole thing above in action. Okay, very simple to do. What I'll do is I'll simply go back to my Wisdom QA folder. I will simply create. Let me actually delete a few things. Okay, so new file. Okay, just a new file. That's fine. Okay, I'm going to give a name to this file. Say hello Wisdom QA.
Hi, Savik. I can't see your screen.
You can't?
No, I can just see the logo, Wisdom QA.
Is it for everybody?
I can see the screen.
I can see.
I can see it.
I can see a screen.
I'm sharing it. I'm not sure what's happening.
Maybe you can rejoin.
So that means whatever I just said so far, you didn't You didn't hear me, or you just heard me? You didn't see anything happening in the screen?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't see the screen.
You're joining from your laptop, is it?
Yes.
Okay, let me stop the share and then share again. You could have told me earlier,
Sorry, I never knew you was sharing the screen, so
Oh, okay.
I only found out now. Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay, good stuff. All right. Okay, anyways. If there's any problem with my audio, my video, just immediately let me know. Okay, cool. Just give me a second. Okay, good. So then what I'm doing is I'm creating a simple file. Okay, I'll name that file as Hello Wisdom QA. Okay, inside this file, I'm going to write some syntax. The syntax is written in English, but still it is a syntax, right? So the syntax goes like this: public class, whatever the name of the file it is, I'll give the same name. I'll keep the same name of the class. What is the class? We'll talk about that later on. But for now, Hello Wisdom QA. Okay, same name, same case. Okay, Java is a case sensitive language.
Sorry, can you make the font a bit bigger?
I will. Is this okay? Is this okay?
That's fine. Yeah, it takes.
Okay, good. So I'm just creating few syntax. So public class hello wisdom QA. That's the name of the file. That's the name of the class. Exactly same case, same name, everything the same, right? And then I'm writing. This is a class, right? The class or any component in Java will have a body. A body. Body means a scope in which the program can run. So the scope of this class is starting from this flower brace and ending up here in the closing flower brace, right? Now inside this body of class, I can create a method, something like this, public static void main, all right? And this main is having a few more syntax to it, which is string of array args. Maybe you didn't understand any of it. That's totally okay. Basically, what I created here is a method. The method is a main method, and a main method is having a particular structure, which is public static void main. Now, every word that I'm writing here, or every keywords that I'm writing here, is having a significance, which we will discuss in details as long as we, when we are going deeper, we'll talk about them in details. But for now, just follow my lead. Basically, when I am trying to trigger the program, the Java program that I wrote, that I'm writing here, JVM will look for a main method. This is a method, all right? So and the method, you can see it has its own scope. You see a flower brace starting, a flower brace ending. This flower brace is for the class. So the method stays within a class, okay? A method stays within a class. There are multiple different class members. We will talk about them, but this is one of the member. A method can be a member, is a member of a class. Now, JVM is looking for this particular main method exactly in this particular format or structure. And this is where your program will get started. I can prove that to you by creating another method here, public static void main. However, in this main, I will little bit modify the structure by just removing this particular section. This particular section that I am highlighting here is called as parameters or arguments. Okay, guys, if you want to note it down in a pen or wherever, please note it down. Okay, and then stop me if you think anything is confusing. Just stop me there. So string args is a parameter. Okay, you see I'm avoiding this parameter over here. All right, now inside this I will say I'm going to print out something. I'm going to print out something in the console. So I'll say system.out.println. System.out.println. Here I'm going to say welcome to the summary class, to the week 1 summary class. Simple, right? And then I'll do the same thing over here, but I'll print out something else. I'll say welcome to the week 2 summary class. Okay, this is my simple English written syntax. It is supposed to execute and print out some statement in the console. This is the English written code, which I have to convert it to a Java formatted code. Now, this file is a .txt file. The extension of this file is a .txt file. You can see that very well from here. Hello world wisdom QA text document. Okay. Firstly, we have to change this to a Java document. Okay. So simple file save as, and over here save as type, make it all files, and then just say at the end .java. Okay, you first do that because a text file cannot be executed or compiled. So I said save, done with that. Okay, now you can see there is a file called Java. Same file name .java. Okay, you can open this file as well. Right click, open with Notepad, and it opens up. Okay, no problem at all. Now what do we do is we got this Java file. However, this Java file is not machine readable. So let's make it machine readable. Let's go to command prompt, cmd. We can execute this command if and only if I have Java installed in my system. So obviously Java is installed in my system. I can say Java space minus version, and I can see that Java is installed in my system by getting this confirmation, by getting this feedback that Java 11 is present in my system. All right. So now I want to locate myself inside this folder. So cd means change directory, and go to this location just like that. And then here you can do dir, basically to see what are the content of the directory. These are the content of my directory, and I want to basically print out, not print out, but perform a compilation for this file, which is a Java file. Simple. So Java C, and then here you say hello wisdom QA.java. So Java C is a command that will let you compile this guy and make it a byte code, right? How do you do that? Enter. It got compiled, and you can see immediately a file got created. You see, .class file. I said this is a byte code, meaning machine readable format. Sorry, which font is a problem for you, if any? If you can tell me.
The CMD now, anyway.
The CMD. Can you guys see this one on the?
Yeah. There's not much to see there, but it's a bit tiny, but it's okay. But what you're doing on the CMD, I can. Okay, I think it's
It's better now.
yeah.
Okay. So you can see the Hello World Wisdom QA class. This is a class file which got automatically created. And now if I want to just say open with Notepad, you will see it is all gibberish because it is compiled. And it is compiled and it is now machine readable format, right? Now it became machine readable format. Now, how do I execute it? I want to execute it, right? So how do I execute it? Just say Java and then just say hello world. Don't need to say class, just say hello world Wisdom QA, enter. And you can see, welcome to week 170 class. If you remember, we had two different section there, right? We had two different section there, this one and this one. You see, this guy was not called because we got only one output of the program from the program execution, which is this output. We didn't get this output, right? So which means only this section was called and this section was not called, meaning Java virtual machine is exactly expecting this particular format from where a program can be kicked in or kicked off. Is this understandable? Whatever I just said. A program I created, compiled, executed. And I just wanted to say that Java virtual machine is looking for a main method from where the program can get started.
Is it only one main method for what for a class per class?
That is right. Yes.
Okay.
Basically, a main method for an entire project. But let's not get in there. We will talk about that later on. But for now, understand that in this class, we have just one main method. This main method I have written, and it is not a bad syntax, or it is not something that I should have avoided. It's not like that. Whatever I've written is syntactically, it is all fine. However, JVM is not going to consider this main method as a kickoff point. It will always consider this main method because it has a particular format or a structure. Okay, that's the key point you should be grasping out of this.
So to be a main method, you always must have string arguments in your
That's right.
parameters.
That's right, always. And there's a significance why I have that there, and I will show it to you. So this argument is basically there so that you can send some data through this argument inside this method. Okay, I'm going to write some more syntax now, which is going to make it a little bit more complex to look at, but don't worry, I will explain. So the idea is simple. The idea is that I want to send some data inside this method, okay? And I want these data to be used while printing the values. So this guy over here is a string of array. Array, you can represent an array with the square brackets, okay? Array is nothing but an entity which can store multiple values under one single component. Multiple values under one single component, meaning if you want to store an array of names, I can store names like Savik, Ronan, Ben, Madhu, Nikki, right? So I can store all these people under one single entity, and that entity is called an array. Okay, we will talk about array in details later on, but for now, my motive is to send these information while we are triggering this class. And that's the reason why this array is there. This array is there so that you can send some data inside this main method. However, I have to make some changes in my program. So let me do that, okay? What I'll do is I'll say, whatever the names I am printing, whatever the names I'm going to send inside this main method, I want them to be printed in the console, okay, along with this text. That's my motive, right? So I'm going to write a loop, a for loop. What is a loop? Talk about that later on. I'm writing a for each loop here. Okay, precisely I'm writing a for each loop here. So for, I say string name colon. Sorry guys, go on mute please. All right, okay. So for loop string nm args. What the syntax is not understandable to you probably. It's okay. Just follow my lead. So I'm writing a for each loop. Inside the for each loop, I'm going to just copy this whole section and cut it and paste it. And then the value of the name I want to append at the very end. So the idea is simple. The printout would come like this. Welcome to week 1 summary class and the name. Okay, that's the idea. Okay. And the for loop will keep on iterating as long as the entire list is exhausted. Okay, so I have just now modified my program. Once I'm done with the modification, I have to recompile again so that the new code is registered. All right. How do I compile? It's simple. Java C Wisdom QA. Done. And now I can say Java Wisdom QA. And now, because there is a string of array as an argument, and I'm trying to process that argument, okay, what will happen is I can give names as an argument. I can say Savik, Ronan, Vida, Madhu, Nikki. You see, how am I supplying these names as an argument to my actual program? Okay, these are my arguments which will simply be sent into the main method. So JVM is designed to look for these arguments and pass them into the main method, which is why I'm able to run this for loop and access the information and then process it further. Okay, simple stuff. Now I go and I say, let's execute this, enter. What did I do wrong? Wait a minute. It didn't really do that. But why is it? Am I making the change in the right file? Maybe not. Let me copy this thing. Let's close this. Yeah, I'm not making the change in my Java file. Is it Java file? No. Yeah, exactly. This is my Java file. So Control V. Oops, sorry. Over here. Okay. Let's do a compilation. Let's do an execution. See that? All of them comes up here because these guys were passed as an argument. JVM understands that when you are passing these guys along with their program or the class name, you're basically trying to use them as an argument, and then you're printing them out. So can you give me a confirmation that you understand what is happening right here? Can you give me a confirmation? Okay. Vaishali, Madhu, is it understandable?
I can understand the logic, what's happening, but I'm still trying to figure out the strings and the errors, the arguments.
Don't worry, don't worry. This class is not yet started with the strings and arrays.
Okay.
Arrays will be covered separately. Just follow whatever I am saying right now to understand. I'm just trying to show you how a main method works and how we can pass arguments to a main method.
Yes, I can understand the logic. That's good. Thanks.
Very good. What about Madhu?
Yeah, same here. So I can follow you, but yeah, still I need some time. I'm not getting that how you're writing the for loop and all.
Don't worry. For loop is not the focus over here.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. Perfect. So let's move on to the next
I
one.
have a question, maybe very quickly, Sofik.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No
in
problem.
this instance, you added names. Say obviously you wanted to add something different, like an integer, then the main method would, the only thing you would change is just string to int. Or does that not work?
No, it won't work. Why?
Uh,
Because JVM is looking for only string of arguments. Let me prove that. If I say int, I save it. And let me try to do Java C. And you see, it immediately gives me the error. Int cannot be converted to string. So JVM is specifically looking for, even during compilation, JVM is specifically looking for the main method that is having an array of strings, not an array of integers.
so in this case, it can only ever be strings when we're talking specifically about a main method.
For the main method, yes, it will be always this format.
Okay, cool.
Good.
Thanks.
That's a good question, by the way. Good. So let's move on to the next part. Java installation, I think everybody is good with that. Installing Eclipse IDE, I think everybody is good with that as well. So let's move on to the next part. Okay. Creating a class with a main method. What I'm showing you here is the steps from Eclipse. Okay, so you go to Eclipse. Let me do something. I will start the Eclipse from beginning so that you understand every bit. So let me close this instance and let me go to Eclipse. When I open the Eclipse, it will first ask me for something. It will say, select a directory as a workspace. What is a workspace? Workspace is a location where you can keep multiple projects. So I'm just creating a workspace for this particular batch. I'm saying September Wisdom QA 2021, right? And launch. When I do that, the Eclipse will launch. So the Eclipse is launched and it's showing a welcome screen. Ignore it. It comes up with this layout. Okay. Firstly, I will remove other unwanted stuff from here. So outline, I'll take it down. Problems, Java doc declaration, I'll take them down. I don't need that. I just need the left-hand side and the right-hand side. Right-hand side is the location where my code will be edited, and left-hand side is the location where my project will be managed. Okay. First and foremost, I want to do here is I want to somehow, firstly, increase the font of the entire page, right? So I'll go to run, so window, appearances, preferences. Inside this, I'll go for font, colors and fonts, basic, okay? And then at the very end, text font, and I'll say edit, and I'll go for maybe number 20. Okay, apply and close. That's done. The code will be now bigger. I have to first create a project in Java. Okay. You can create a project in Eclipse in multiple ways. Number one is file. Okay. New Java project. You can do that. All right. You can give a name to the project. So I'll just say Java class 1. All right. And then I'll say, okay, so here it says JRE execution environment. Okay. I can just go ahead and I can choose Java 11. Okay. But anyway, it will basically be using Java 11 because I don't have Java 16 in my system. Okay. It is showing that Java 11 because in this list, Java 16 is the maximum that is being added, which is why it is saying it, but you can just put it to Java 11, okay? And once that is done, the default compiler compliance level is 16. New project will use project-specific compiler 11, all right? Fine, finish. So in this module window, don't say create, always say don't create. You're not creating a module, okay? Module info.java not needed. Just say don't create and you're done. You've created a simple project here.
Avik,
Yeah.
I don't know. Last week, what you were using last week was quite better. Today is just not visible. I don't know. I've tried to use 2 different monitors, still the same thing. I don't know if other people notice that.
Okay. You're not able to see my screen properly, is it?
Yeah, I can see, but just too tiny, just too, it's not bold.
Okay. Let me see if I can fix that. Just give me a second. Hold on. Is it better now? Is it better now? Or
Sofik, the font size is a bit tiny. I'm not sure why.
It's just too tiny, man. Maybe I'll take a screenshot and you can see it. It's just not.
It's a bit hazy as well.
just a second, guys. Hold on. Okay. How about now? 1 minute.
Better. Better, yes. Much better, yes.
Okay. Okay. I scaled up my window. That's why. Just a minute. Yeah, I think. Yeah, scaled up. Let's see. Everybody can see my screen better now, I hope. Is it
Actually,
hazy or
it's hazy for me now. It was better before. It's okay though.
it's hazy now?
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. I can make out what it is. It's okay.
Just give me
No,
one.
it's fine. So seriously, it's
Sadiq,
okay.
what did you use last week? Are you using the same system you used last week? Was very
Yeah, it's the same system. It's just that I have added a new monitor in my screen. That's all.
Probably it's a larger monitor than last
Yeah,
time.
it's a
Yeah.
larger monitor. Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I am okay because my screen is big as well. So
Oh, okay. What about others? Are they? Is it better or it's gone worse?
It's fine for me. It's a bit big, but it's fine for me. I can see it, so it's okay.
Okay. What about others? Rita?
Yeah, fine for me
Yeah,
too.
I'm fine as well.
Yeah, for me either was fine.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. Okay. Okay. So I'll continue here. Maybe if it's too big, I'll just make it 150%. Maybe just a minute. I'll just make it 125% so that little bit okay for some people. Let's see now. Hopefully it is better. I don't know. So this is the project that I created. When I created the project, I am looking at the section. I expanded this project and I can see that there are a few stuff here. Number one is a default JRE system library added to my project. Okay, when I created the project, it was letting me choose which JRE to use. So from that, I have this JRE here, number one. Okay, and I have an empty source folder in which I'm supposed to write my code. I'm supposed to keep my code. Right now it is empty. All right. JRE library. What is a library? So from the icon, you can see there are some books lying around. It's a library. What is a library from program perspective? If I expand this, you can see there are hundreds and thousands of files. What files are those? You see, these files are looking like a jar. So basically, it is a jar file. It's a JAR file, Java archive, okay? Java archive. What is Java archive, by the way? If you again further expand them, maybe java.compiler, you see, under JRE library, there is a jar called java.compiler. Maybe this is the jar which helps you to compile and execute stuff, right? Java.sql, java.sc, java.scripting, so many of them, okay? You don't have to learn everything. You just have to use it. You just have to know what to use when or how to use what, right? But you will figure that out as and when you hit the problem. Okay, so let me expand this one of the jar file, java.base. If I expand that, I'm seeing some boxes. So let's try to understand. When I open the, so let me write it down so that you understand the path. So library. Okay. Library can contain multiple jars. multiple jars. Jar can contain multiple packages, and multiple packages can contain multiple dot class files, not Java files, class files. That means compiled Java files, right? So basically the idea is library will have multiple jar will have multiple packages, and packages will have multiple classes, not class file. That is basically one library I'm talking about, one library, okay? You can have multiple libraries that you can add into the project. For example, we have JRE system library added. JRE system library added by default. Okay, JRE system library added by default. We can have another library added to this project, which is called Selenium WebDriver. Just a second. Selenium WebDriver. It is another library, okay, which we can add into the project. Again, they will follow the same format. There will be jars, under jar packages, under packages class. Okay, so this is my default library, understandable. Now, let's try to write some code here. New package. Okay, in the package, I can give any name to the package, but always remember to follow some naming convention. Naming convention for keeping the package name is always a lowercase. And also, please make sure that when you are writing a package name or a class name must not be same as what Java is using for its own internal systems, right? For example, you cannot go ahead and create a package name called java.base. Okay, you created that, and then if you are just going ahead and java.base, sorry. Java.base is a jar name. Let's say java.io, right? You see, there's a package name called java.io, correct? Let's try to do that. I'll say refactor rename, and let's make it as java.io. Say okay. Immediately, it throws me with an exception. While creating the project itself or the package itself, java.io already exists in this project, so you cannot do it. So always remember, do not create a class name or do not create a package name which is already existent in your default system library. It won't work. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, so I just named this guy refactor rename. I'll make this guy as Java test. There's a difference between Java test as a package name and Java.test as a package name. There's a difference between that. Java test is one single package, and Java.test is a package within a package. So Java is a package. Inside that, there's a package called test. You see? So when you add a dot while giving a name inside, while creating a package, It means that you're trying to create a sub package. So if you want to read the package names provided by JRE, you will read something like this. Say Java base and see com.sun.crypto.provider, right? It means what? It means there is a com package. Inside that there is sun package, then crypto package, then provider package. Okay, this is not one package. It's a layered package, right? Inside this package, into the provider package, you have all these guys. Okay. Okay. If you are going to just this com package, you will see something else, some other files, some other class files. Okay, so keep that in mind. Anyways, what I'm trying to do here now is I'm trying to create a class file, new class file. Let me clear the drawing. Okay. So in the class files, what I'll do, I'll just go ahead and write a simple class. So I'm just saying hello world, right? Simple class name. When I'm creating this hello world class name, you see I gave the name here. You can keep other things default. Okay, don't have to change anything. Just say public static void main, just check this box and finish. When you do that, you will see that the class got created. Public class hello world. Inside this, there is this main method because you check that box, all right? And there are some comments over here. Comments are there so that you can write some sensible information which you can refer to later on. It is for your own readability of the code. Maybe you're writing some complex code. You want to read it back later on after a year. If you write some 1 or 2 liner comment, it will make you understand that what you're trying to do with the logic, right? That's why we use comments. But anyway, I'm going to remove them for now. So again, read the difference. Public class hello world. Again, it has a scope from here to here. Method public static void main, same string arguments. It has a scope from here to here. But there's an additional text which is added. Package Java test. If you see at the previous one that I was referring to over here, in this guy, there was nothing like package. You see, there was nothing like package because this class was directly created. I didn't create really any package inside that any class. I didn't do anything like that. I created the class just like that directly in one of my folder. Okay, but in this case, I've added a package Java test, right? Just a second. Just 1 minute, guys. Okay. All right. So I'm talking about the public class hello world, and then it is under a package. When you are ending a statement in Java, these are not statements, okay? But this is a statement. When you're ending a statement in Java, you will end.
We can't hear you, Souvik.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, sorry guys, I don't know what happened. Let me come back again. Just a second. You can see my screen?
Yes, we can. Yeah, you were telling about the semicolon statement.
Yeah. Zoom sometimes. Okay, anyways. So package Java test, and I'm ending it with a semicolon, which is the end of a statement. This is a statement in Java. which I have to end it with a semicolon, which is the syntax you have to understand. These guys are not a statement, right? They are components of Java, okay? Like class, like methods. And these are the keywords. All this red guy are the keywords which you will be remembering slowly as and when we learn more about it. So far in this whole section, you're looking at six keywords: package, public, class, static void, 5 keywords, right? So that's that. Now inside this, I'm going to write a program, sysout. You say, okay, so what is the benefit of using Eclipse? Eclipse can help you to fill the program for you when you're writing it, okay? So you can say syso and then say control space. Wait a minute, why didn't that happen? Yeah, you see control space, and then if you hit enter, you see this line got automatically created, okay? So Eclipse can help you with that, all right? And then you can write something over here. So I say, hi, okay, welcome to week 1 summary class. Same thing we're doing from Eclipse, all right? Now that we understand it, let's go and, you see I'm ending it with a semicolon, right? And now let's try to run this. How do we run this? Very simple. Right click on the file, run as Java application, okay? I want to show you something one more time. New Java class. I'll give this name as Hello World. Hello World 2. And this I'm not writing a main method. I'm not clicking on this checkbox. I say finish. When I do that, okay, and I'm going to copy the same piece of code. Sorry, I won't be copying the same piece of code because in the Hello World 2, there is no method. I can actually do one thing. I'll copy this over here for sure, but then I won't be keeping the same structure. I'll say no string argument, something like this, right? And then if you right click on the first one, you will see run as Java application. You can see that option provided by Eclipse to execute your program. However, if I do a right click on this file, run as, you see, I don't see that option. Run as Java application is not even there. It says run configuration, which means if you want to execute a program, if you want to start a program from Eclipse, okay, your kickoff point of the program must be starting with a main method. The class should have a main method. All right. So now I'm going to run this. Run as Java application. When I run it, in my console, it prints me this value. However, you must be wondering, where did I do the compilation? I didn't. Let me show you. I'll go to the directory where this Java class was created. So right click on this project, show in System Explorer. When I do that, I'm coming to this folder, Java class 1. This is the location where my project is created. This project Java class 1 is nothing but a simple folder, a directory, nothing fancy here. If you open this up, you will get some more stuff that we didn't create. For example, you will see class path, you will see project, you will see settings. These 3 files are basically coming out of Eclipse for its own maintenance perspective. Okay, you want to maintain the project information, which is why it is creating all these files. So we are not bothered about it. What we are bothered about is the src folder. You see src folder over here. The same src folder is also there, src. If you open this src, there is a folder again called Java test. Ideally, Java test is a Java package, right? It's a package, but basically it is a folder. From Windows perspective, it is a folder, nothing more than that. If you open that up, you see there are two class files, sorry, Java files, hello world and hello world 2. Okay, there is no class files. So where did the class files got created? Because without the class files, you will not be able to execute the program at all. So where the class files are created, right? So if I take you back to the Java class 1 again, you can see bin folder. You see, for the src folder, there's a bin folder. Bin means binary folder. If you open this up, it is a mirror image of the source folder. If you go to the Java test, it's a package. Inside this, you can find class file. So who is compiling? Who is making these files? Eclipse is doing it for you. As soon as you do a save, as soon as you hit Control S in your keyboard, as soon as you do that, it compiles and creates the class files for you. Okay? No Java C, nothing. Eclipse is good enough to take care of it. Because anyway, it will be referring to the Java C program, because obviously in your system you have Java installed, right? So it knows that the location where the Java is installed, so it can simply go there and can simply fetch the Java C, and from there it can perform the compilation and then copy those files inside the bin folder, and then that's how it works. Okay, so you saw me creating this, right? Okay, what if I want to add the same situation here, meaning I want to say for loop, the same for loop that I was talking about. I'm representing the same for loop over here for string name colon args, right? I'm trying to loop around the arguments and print them out. Simple. I'll copy this guy, exactly the same program. Same program. Pasting it here, done with that. I say colon, I say plus, I say nm. This nm is an argument, is each and every name which I want to append to this text and then print them out. Okay. So the question is, how do I trigger my main method now? Because earlier, in case of the command prompt, we were able to say Java hello Visual QA and all the names. We were passing it like this. How can we do the same thing in this situation? We can do that with the help of run configuration. Instead of run configuration, this is the hello world project, sorry, hello world class. Inside the hello world class, in this at the run configuration, I can look for arguments, and you can say VM. Inside the VM, I can give the values like Sovic, Ronan, Nikki, Madhu, etc. and say apply and say run. Okay, I'm doing something wrong. Run configuration. Either I have to pass it. Okay, 1 minute. Environment. There is a way to pass this. Source environment. No. Either program arguments or program arguments, right? You can see I got them created. So two different ways I showed you. One is through the command prompt, another one through the Eclipse. You can pass these values inside the for loop and print them out. Okay, that's that. Let's move on to the next part. So guys, initial few days we will be going a little slow to get you guys kind of accustomed, and then we will pick up the speed. All right. So we are trying to talk about what is a main method. There are a few things to be okay. Okay, I'll talk about the main method. Give me 5 minutes, guys. I'll take a quick break. I'll get some water. I'm talking for a long time. I'll take a 5 minutes break. You guys can also take a break, and then we'll come back and then we'll talk from here. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So everybody's back from the break. All good. We can start the class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Good. So public static void main, it is basically the structure which JVM looks for, as I was saying. There is these keywords, public static void, all right? And there is significance for these keywords. Public is access specifier, meaning this main method can be accessed from everywhere, within the project or outside of the project. That's the reason why I added it as a public access given to it. I'll talk to you about access specifier in details in the next class. But for now, just remember, this is an access specifier. There are 4 types of access specifier which you will be learning: public, private, default, and protected. We'll talk about them in details, but for now, just remember the keywords and what are they called as, what are they grouped as. So this is public is a access specifier. Static is a keyword, a generic keyword, but there's a significance to it, which we will talk about when we understand Java objects, and then we talk about static. Okay. And then we have return type. So a method in a program can return back some information. When I say void, it means this main method is not returning any information. Again, we'll talk about that in details. Okay, it's a return type. Just understand it. It's a return type. Okay, you can give return type like void. You can give return type like a string, an integer, anything for that matter. Main method is always returning nothing, right? Main is a method name, and string of array is an argument. That's all is the structure of a main method. JVM is looking for this main method while it's executing. Java package and sub package. I just spoken to you about that. When you are giving a dot, it means a sub, right? Java dot util. Java is the main package. Inside this, there's a sub package. Inside the sub package, when you say dot star, okay, what is this statement? It's called import statement. The statement which I'm showing you right now is called as an import statement. It's an import statement. What is an import statement? Import statement is basically needed when you are trying to access some information described in another class inside your class. For example, if I take you back to the program, I will exactly write the exact same thing. I'll go beyond package and I'll say, I'm sorry, my bad. Package. I'll say import Java dot util. Okay. Let's say Java.util dot star. That's fine. So Java.util dot star means what? Inside the Java.util package, there are hundreds of class files which you can access in your program now. How can I prove that? I can prove that by going to the Java util package. So I'm not sure inside which jar file the Java util package is residing. In the base Java util, yes, Java util. Inside Java util, if we go, there's so many classes. You see, arrays is a class. Arrays is a class, right? If I say, inside this main method, if I say arrays, right, dot, let me find something that will a little bit easier to understand. Array dot equals, yeah, that could be one, but let's see something else. Okay, maybe I'll go for this. Arrays dot sort. Okay, it can basically sort an array, right? And I am able to access this arrays because look at the documentation, it will understand very well. If you hover your mouse on top of the class, it will tell you some information. For example, if I hover my mouse on the arrays, it says the arrays belongs to arrays class belongs to java.util package. If I'm not providing, if I'm commenting this import statement like this, you can see immediately the program is giving me an error saying, I don't know, where did you get this arrays from? If you hover on the error, it will tell you this clearly, arrays cannot be resolved. Quick fixes available. Obviously, the quick fix for this is import arrays, which I did just like this. I can specifically import a single class. Okay, this arrays is not something that I have implemented. It is coming from Java inbuilt library. Okay, I say import Java util arrays, and when I did that, you see I was able to take down that error message. In the sort, it is giving me the error because it cannot accept a null value. If I'm giving an integer value, then it's fine. Then it's fine. Okay, so let me create an array of integers. Int array nums equal some random values 23, 40, 56, 78, 90, some random values. Okay, I give all these values inside the array, and when I did that, and if I say nums right here, so the error is gone, right? Because this statement over here, okay, is helping me to sort this array. How can I prove it is sorted? I can write another for loop to do that. That's a for loop. It's an array of integers. Right now, this array is not sorted. You can see that it's not sorted. But now, if I say int num colon nums, and just say sys out num, and let's print this out. It must be sorted. Run as Java application. As you can see, they are now sorted. Earlier, if I put this loop instead of this position after the sorted, if I'm taking this loop from here to here now, you will see, firstly, it will give you an unsorted value. You can see that. It gave you exactly the same value, 2356, whatever, it was printed. Is exactly the way it was initialized. All these values are here, unsorted, and then I ran this sorting mechanism, and it is sorted now. Why am I showing this to you? I don't want you to get confused. I don't want you to really bother about the fact that how this for loop is working. We'll talk about that. I'm just trying to give you a simple understanding that if I have to import a mechanism that is implemented by someone else into my own class, which is this particular class, I would use import statement, import Java util arrays. I have not written this class. It is coming out of the box with JRE, right? So you can specify the arrays class, or you can just go and say, sorry, you can just go and say Java util dot star. What does it mean? Dot star means under Java utils, whatever the classes are there, you can now work with all of them inside your class. That is what the dot star means. You don't have to import them one by one. You can basically, you have just reference them using this statement, and then you can use them right there in the class. Is this understandable?
Yeah. Sophie, can we go back to something that you did, I think, just before the break?
Mhm.
It's what you see when you run this file here, this hello world, the first hello world.
Mhm.
You went into run configurations, and then you put in like the array of.
It was not an okay. So I added some values there. Yeah, it is being
in which bit you did it, because I couldn't keep up.
Arguments, program arguments.
Ah, okay. But for this, you need the for loop.
To access these values and print them, you need the for loop.
Okay.
Okay, but this is how you are sending the value inside the main method. You understand, right? These are the four values. Here is the main method. Let me put it side by side. Just a second. Here's the main method. And here is the run configuration. Just in here, arguments. These four guys, you are simply sending them from here to here. And finally, all these values, these four values, are being processed in the for loop, right? Because these four guys are coming to this for loop as an array, and then each and every value is getting printed by this append that I'm doing here. Making sense?
Yeah. So it's yeah. I just wanted to confirm like which part you were adding.
Okay.
The values in to send to the.
That's program arguments.
Arguments. Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Okay. Regarding the import statement, do you have any questions I can answer?
I have one doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, when you wrote those numbers, you wrote it inside the program itself, right, to sort the numbers. But those names, like Sovic Madhu, whatever why did you go to the run configuration and pass those arguments there? Can't you write it here and it will get printed? Or is it only numbers you can write here, and if the names are there, you need to go there? Something.
No. So I wrote those information as a part of run configuration because I am trying to trigger my main method, right? Inside the main method, I can perform multiple operations. I can perform an operation to sort, or I can perform to add 2 numbers. I can perform to add 1,000 numbers. Doesn't matter. So to trigger the main method and to pass those values inside the main method, I use the run configuration option. Again, let me draw this for you. Okay. This is a class. All right. Inside the class, you have a main method. A main method. This main method is the trigger point for your class. From here, it will trigger your program. In the main method, you may or you may not provide arguments. Main method accepts arguments in form of string of array args. So you may or may not provide the arguments to the main method. Okay. Inside the main method, again, I can perform multiple operation. I can add numbers. I can say sysout a plus b, where a is int a equals 10, int b equals 20, right? Inside the main method, I am doing some operation. This has nothing to do with how the main method is triggered. For example, if I can go back to the run configuration again, and if I just remove all these information out, okay? And if I say run, I'll say apply and run. When I do that, you can see that this section was executed, meaning this for loop was executed, also this loop was executed, but this for loop was never executed. Can you tell me why, Madhu?
Because we didn't pass the arguments.
Exactly, very good. We didn't pass the arguments to the main method. So understand this very well. Earlier, we were passing the names here, right? Name 1, name 2, name 1, name 2, etc. Correct? And then it was looping around the for loop, and it was picking each and every one name from that array and then appending it here, and then it was running it for us. But now this for loop has nothing to loop around. You can think of arrays as basically a structure like this, where you are passing multiple values, right? You have name, you have name 1, name 2, name 3, name 4. It's a strip of multiple values. And this for loop is iterating. It is picking each and every name or each and every value at its own iteration, one by one, and printing them right here in the system.out.println. It's appending that name with the text and printing it. When I remove the run configuration, it has nothing to loop around now. So this entire section was avoided. Okay, and just the section which is below is considered now, because at the end of the day, it's all about executing whatever is present in the main method. The for loop right now is dysfunctional because there is no loop, no list of names to be iterated. However, these two sections are still active, which is why I saw it printing this portion as well as this portion. Is it understandable?
Yeah, I understood your point, but still I have doubt. I'm sorry. Like these numbers, you passed it through in the same program, right? Why for the arguments we are going to run configuration? Now I don't know the syntax, but is there not any syntax like array equal to Soviet Madhu? You can write it here itself in the program and then run it as Java.
My point was to show you, okay, so if you remember in the command prompt, I showed you the significance of the main method with the argument. I showed you why there is a parameter in the main method, right? I showed you the reason why there is a parameter in the main method so that you can send information inside the main method from an external source. So the external source in case of this command prompt was this section. This section, right? You see? So from Eclipse perspective, how will you send the same information into the main method is what I was trying to describe.
Okay, now I got it. Yeah.
I'm trying to show you that how you can pass information to the main method from Eclipse perspective.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Is this understandable by everybody else? Fola, Ifni, Ben.
Yeah, it's understandable. But the only thing I just wanted to do, the way you bring out the table where you pass the arguments from the Eclipse, just you right click and you.
I go to program. I go to run configuration.
Okay.
Then I go to arguments.
Okay.
And under the program arguments, I do that.
Okay, that's okay. That's no configuration. Okay.
Nikki, how are things with you?
Yeah, I think I need more practice to understand it fully, but I can follow it and understand it a bit.
Anything that is doubtful?
No, I just think I need to see it more times to kind of make it stick in my head because I'll probably forget it after the class, but it makes sense to me now.
Okay, all right. Okay, so the reason for this particular discussion was basically about the import statement, why there is an import, how to read these stuff, how to understand what's happening here. So there is a Java package, there is a sub package called util, and there is multiple classes inside the util package that you can refer or you can reference. I showed you an example with arrays because I wanted to do a particular operation of sorting numbers. Okay, so let's move on to the next part of it. Variables and constants. What is variable? What is a constant? I'm pretty sure, guys, I won't be able to cover the the complete week of content because I'm taking it slow. It happens with a couple of batches where, you know, we take it slow at the initial stage and then we pick it up. So if that is the case, then I would probably not enable the week 2 for you guys because I want to completely make sure that you understand it. And there is one more thing I really want to, request you guys. That is, after Friday's class, whenever I'm enabling the week number 2 or week number 3, whatever it is, I want you to get started immediately from the next day. Saturday, Sunday, you guys are getting, some people are probably working Saturday, Sunday, but don't, this is a degree level course that you are enrolling into. There are too many things to learn, and if you are taking it casually, then I can guarantee you that in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month time, you will lose interest. It is a course for only serious people. If you are in a situation where you want to really change your current paycheck, you want to really get into test automation, you can see yourself in a different level after a few years, handling much better projects, making much better out of your time, getting into a different career path than what you are right now into. Only then you must be committing into it. Otherwise, this course is not for everyone. So why I'm saying this, I don't want you to be casual. I want you to get started immediately after the live class stops. Sunday and Saturday is there for you to start digging in. Come back to me with the questions, during the week, during the weekend. I'm getting questions like in the 11th hour, right? Thursday night. Does it make sense? I want you guys to be more proactive. I'm there to help, but you must be getting started immediately, as soon as possible. For next 4 months, as long as we are in the course, probably your social life should step back, because, if you think this is important, only then, right? So start with it immediately, okay? All right. Variables and constants. What is variables? Variables is basically, as it says, the name, variables. The value can change. Basically, it is a memory space, okay, which can get updated. When you're declaring a variable like this, let me go to another, let me create this. Let me go to this particular class. In this class, I have a main method, but this is not the right main method. String argument args, that's the right method. So inside this method, if I go and if I create a variable, how do I create a variable? Creating a variable is very simple. I say int num equals 10. 3 things happened here. Number 1, I said what type of variable I'm trying to create. I'm trying to create an integer type of variable. Integer. Okay. Secondly, what is the name of the variable under which you want to store the value? So the name of the variable is num. And what is the initial value of the variable? Initial value of the variable is 10. So 3 things happen here. So basically what is happening is in a memory, in your memory, in your RAM, basically, you're creating a small space, a memory location to store numbers. You have given that location a name, which is num, which is the variable, and then you have a value here added to it. That is what exactly happened, which means it's a variable, meaning I can go ahead and update that value again. I can make it 15, 20, 100,000, doesn't matter, right? However, however, it matters because it matters depending on the range of that data type. So it is an integer data type, right? It's an integer data type, which means it can store, it has a max limit. I'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, it is a max limit. But that's a variable. When I say constant, how do you create a constant? It's a final. Oh, sorry, not here. I'll go and say final. Say, I don't know. I'm gonna give integer. I'm going to give say maybe numbers. Okay, number. I'm going to give a number, or maybe I'm going to give int salary equals 20,000. That's an information which cannot be updated. How do you prove that? It's very simple. You go down into Eclipse and just write this lines and then say salary equals 30,000. And you save it. As soon as you do that, it will throw you with an error right there saying a final local variable salary cannot be assigned. It must be blank and cannot use a compound assignment. Okay, why is that? Because it's a final, it's a constant. You cannot update a constant value. Simple as that. However, an integer value can be updated. Say num equals 20. Right? Now, a few things to notice. You see, while I was declaring the variable, I was specifying the data type. The red guy over here is the data type, right? However, when I'm trying to update the variable, I'm not talking about the data type again, because I have already spoken about it once. It is quite obvious that when I'm referring to the same variable, I'm referring to the integer type. I mean, obviously, I cannot go and say num equals hi there, right? I cannot say that because type mismatch, cannot convert string to int. Simple as that, right? So you declare a variable and then you update that variable. When you update the variable, you don't need to again say the data type. Same thing happens with final. However, with final, you cannot really make any modification. Is this understandable? Give me a thumbs up. Okay. All right. Okay, good. Good stuff. So let's move on to the next one then. Just a second. Okay. Okay, that's that. Let's move on to the next one. Here I'm talking about data types. Okay. So when I'm talking about data types, guys, Java allows to store data types, different type of data types into different data type format that we have already implemented in Java. Okay. There are two different data types that we are really concerned about: primitive and non-primitive data type. All right, I will clear this. Okay. A lot of people get confused with these two types: primitive and non-primitive. What is primitive? are the predefined data types. These are most basic data types available in Java, which includes integer, decimal, characters, and Boolean. Within integer, we have 4 sub data types: byte, short, int, long. Okay, and then we have decimal, we have float and double, character, char, and Boolean. That's all comes under primitive data type. Okay, so when Java was initially built, let me remove these guys so that the error is gone. So when Java was initially built, any programming language will have to provide their users some data type to hold the value that you're trying to process. It should be held under something. You need to hold it under something, right? Some kind of a format, right? So in Java, the format that they have initially created is primitive data types. As a part of this, there are a few stuff: integers, decimal, character, and Boolean. Okay, integer. There are 4 types: byte, age equals 35, short, salary equals 30,000. Okay, there is already a salary, so I just said sal. 30,000. You see, because there was a salary already here, it complained that I cannot give the same name. I cannot keep the same name. So I fixed it. Int, let's give maybe, I don't know, maybe distance. Maybe 10,000 or okay, this is 100,000 kilometers, maybe, right? And then long. Okay, I'll give distance 2. Let's give more than that. Okay, so basically to store integers, we have 4 types created. Question is why? Why do we have 4 types of data types created to just store integers? Why? Because for memory optimization. What do I mean by that? It means that if you are really concerning to store someone's age, there is no need to store them inside int data type. Why? Because depending on the data type, your memory consumption could be more or less. You have to understand that when the Java was initially built long ago, right? Memory was an expensive situation to deal with. The first computer that came in the world, I think it was having maybe it was having around 10 MB 10 MB of data. Can you imagine? Right. So memory is a costly affairs, right? So which is why you need to understand that memory optimization was a key situation that every programming language was trying to deal with. So it's quite obvious that they created different data types for different categories. If you want to store difference between or distance between two celestial planets, you will go for long, right? But if you want to store someone's salary, you can just say sal, short sal, right? Something like that. So this is depending on the requirement, you can choose. But nowadays, memory is not a concern at all, right? So basically, for any integer requirement, we always go and say int. Okay. All right. Similarly, we have for decimal, we have float, say, and then we have float. I'll just give temperature, maybe. Temperature. I'll give 12, or maybe I'll give 23.5. All right. Now, 23.5, when you're dealing with a float, you must add a suffix called F. F is not Fahrenheit. F is a representation of a decimal point, which is basically of type float. There are two different decimal points, float and double. Okay, double, I'll give temp 2, and you can see 36.9. And you can see I haven't really given F here. Again, to store the decimal, we have two stuff here, two different variables, two different data types, float and double. Float is for holding smaller value, double is for holding higher value. Okay, then we have char, C-H-A-R. Char is a guy, char C equals, you see with the single quotes, you can specify a single letter that's with char. All right, and then Boolean is basically to store true or false. Status equals false, right? So basically it will store true or false. That's it. There is no other sub data type to it. This Boolean and char, they are single guys. Others are having siblings, right? So these are data types we have. If you can look at my diagram, data types, primitive, non-primitive, and so on and so forth, I have tried to give you an understanding of a tree structure. Why so many data types? Because there's a reason of memory consumption. I have given you a table to understand. For example, integer 32 bits, it's a memory size, meaning it can store a negative number so much to so much. You see that? 2147483647, right? You can store beyond this. If you go long, it is 2 to the power 63 and 2 to the power 63 minus 1. It can store till this much, not beyond that. Every one of them is having a range to deal with. Correct? For example, I just prove this to you. You see, byte, 8 bits, all right? Minus 120 to 127. Look at this. I go back. I'll just say byte age, right? I just say 127, no error, no error. I saved it, no error. I go and say 128, and it gives me error right there. Yeah, which proves my point. Type mismatch cannot convert int to byte. It's just saying, it doesn't know that the next thing could be short. The error is kind of wrong, you would say, but then yeah. That cannot convert into byte because it is considering this as an int and not converting to byte. Correct? So there's a range. It's all about range. All right. Okay. Any questions with this particular section about data types?
Ivan, for the integers thing, for the different types of integers, is there any benefit now to using the different ones, or is it kind of irrelevant since computers have so much memory? Like if you optimize them and use the different types, would it make programs faster?
I mean, you can do that, but really in current times, the processors are so fast, Nikki, you will not really see any difference, you know. Even if you are using byte or short, or if you just say int age, you wouldn't really see any difference because the processor is so fast. Yeah.
I have a question. For primitive data types, is there a way where you could merge your string with integers?
It's not like that, but I'll give you an example now. Just give me 2 minutes, all right? So this is what a primitive data type looks like. Let me talk about non-primitive data types. Okay, so non-primitive data types are way more, you know, featureful. It has multiple different, you know, additional capabilities incorporated. For example, whatever we have seen as a primitive data type, it has a non-primitive version of it. For example, by the way, primitive data types are data types, okay? But non-primitive data types are basically Java class. They are Java classes, okay? They are not exactly how you would imagine a data type is, right? For example, integer, int, integer is having a non-primitive version of it, meaning I say integer num, do I have a num here? I don't have, yeah, I have num2 equals 1000, right? Or I can even do this. I can even say byte num2. You see, byte num2, if I say 127, it's all good. 128 gives me the error. So basically, these two guys are holding up to the same standards, meaning they're still working similarly. However, num byte is now more capable of performing different operations. Why? Because byte is now not a primitive guy, it's a non-primitive guy, meaning it can basically have multiple different capabilities. How do you access the capabilities? You see, I say byte dot. When I say dot, it gives me a list of options to play with. You see, compare to, you compare a byte to another byte, okay? Dot double value, give the double value of the byte, float value of the byte, int value of the byte. What else it has? It has two string. It can convert a byte to a string. Basically, it's a string value of 127. I mean, it will look like 127, but it's a string format. Okay. And then parse byte. Parse byte. Okay, you're changing a string to a byte. Right? So let me show you what I mean by that. What I'll do is num2. Okay, I'll give a string. I'll give a string. I'll give num3 equals 127. So when I say string, I have to give this in a double quotes. Okay. Obviously, I cannot say convert ABC to 127. That will not make sense, right? 127 is a string formatted data which I want to convert to a byte. Can I do that? Let's see. I'll say byte B equals byte dot parse byte num3. See that? So the value of, okay, I'll just say not even this byte, I'll just say byte. You see, byte, the primitive byte, okay, that value is being assigned, right, by parse byte 3 num3. Byte dot parse byte num3. Num3 is a string, which I'm going to parse it and then put it inside the B. Okay, and then I'll do a sys out. I'll say B. I want to print the B. If I now go ahead and run this, I'll say I get the value as 127 right there. No problem at all. However, if I make this 128 in the string, you see, there is no error right now. No error right now. Okay. Running it. And that's where it gives me an error exception. Number forward exception, value out of range. Value 128 is out of range for byte. So it gives me the error right there. Okay. You see, there are two different type of errors, okay, that you will look at. One is compile time error and runtime error. Please look at this situation. I can prove this to you. You see, there's a reason why coming to live classes are very important, because when the situation occurs in my screen, I will automatically sidetrack a little bit and talk about this. You see, right now, I'm trying to show you two different type of errors, meaning compile time and runtime. And you will see that example right now that happened. You see, in the byte section, if I say byte age equals 128, while compiling, I told you that Eclipse will automatically compile when you say Control S. As soon as you finish the text, it compiles and it will basically tell you if there is a problem. So you see, as soon as it is 127, I made it to 128. The compile time, it told me that there is a problem. It told me that cannot convert into byte. So obviously, you know, and you will fix that. That's cool. Now look at the runtime situation. String num3 128. No complaint. All right. Again, line number 32. All right. Byte parse byte num3. No complaint. All right. When I ran it, it gives me this runtime error. Compile time error, runtime error. Okay, this is an example that you can look at. So this is a non-primitive guy. Again, you can have integer nums equals 1000. Yeah, it can work as it is, but at the same time, it can have more capabilities. Nums dot, right? It can have so many things, int value, long value, blah, 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 thousands of them. When you're looking at these features, guys, understand that you, me, no one can remember all of them. Nobody remembers all of them. What we do is when we are having a requirement, for example, I have a requirement that I want to change a number to a string. So I would basically try and find solutions. Firstly, I'll go and Google to figure out if there is anything, exactly matching my requirement. If not, I go and I just create a simple integer and then I put a dot and it will list me all different kind of methods that is making sense to me. And when I go through this method names, it kind of makes sense to me because they are quite self-explanatory. If I'm not understanding, I go and use the method name in Google and figure it out whether it is the right method to use or not. That's how it works. So it needs your attention, full attention. That's what I'm trying to say, right? It needs research. It needs some attention from your side. Okay. Did you guys get the difference between primitive and non-primitive data type?
So bottom line, it's for memory optimization. Is that the key thing to take away?
No.
No. Oh.
No. The key thing, okay, so memory optimization was just one of the portion that you probably registered, which is this section over here. An integer is having 4 different types of subtypes to hold integer. That is obviously for the memory optimization, that's right. However, that was the primitive section. But when I said about non-primitive, I did say that it works exactly like primitive. It can work exactly like primitive, but also it has got additional capabilities. So primitive data types are basically Java classes, which has, non-primitive data types are basically Java classes, which has primitive feature along with additional features. That is the key point to take away. Make sense, Rita?
Yeah, all good. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else having any questions? Vaishali? Vaishali, are you there?
Yes, it's trying to unmute. I'm getting it, but I think I just need some more practice. When you keyed in byte dot, and you got like so many options to choose from.
Yeah.
How do we know which one to choose?
I just explained. It all depends on your requirement. It needs research. Nobody knows. I mean, so nums. So it is kind of, as I said, it's a muscle memory and the brain memory that kind of hits together, and then you remember it for a long time. When you get started for the first time with the programming, obviously it's not possible for you to remember all these methods. These guys are nothing but methods. You see, these guys are nothing but methods, right? Now you don't remember all of these methods. I don't even remember all of these methods. It's kind of some of the methods I know that they are already there, and when the same situation happens, I know I have to use it. But you have to get till that point, right? Where it kind of gets registered that, okay, to perform this operation, I need to choose a particular method. For example, nums.float value. How hard is that to understand? What is a float value for? You're trying to get the float value of an integer. So if you just say sysout, they are written in plain and simple English. If you are curious, you just got to put them in a sysout statement and figure it out, right? You see, float value, nums.float value. You don't know what does it do, but then I just said nums.float value, and then it say, let's run. When I do that, okay, sorry, look at this. I'm getting the error over here, value 128, which was right there, which is why this line was not even picked. So if the exception comes here above, then the bottom part will not execute because your program will stop. That's the key point to take away as well right now, okay? So what I can do is I can just simply comment this out for now. All right, and then I go and run this again. And you see 1000, the float value for this integer is 1000.0.
Okay, so the decimal just came in because we selected float value?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Again, dot, right? Let's say toString, okay? Let's go and run this. No difference.
Okay.
Looking at it, by looking at it, there is no difference, but I'll prove that there is a difference.
It's decimal.
No, there is no decimal. Okay, guys, one thing, in programming, never assume, do it, and then try to prove the result that you're seeing in the console. You have to challenge the result that you're seeing in the console. For example, if I say nums right now, if I print them, I get 1000. Again, if I say .toString, and if I say run, 1000. Is there a difference? By looking at it, there is no difference at all. But actually there is a difference. How do you prove that? Look at it. So this is out. Nums, all right, dot get class. Look at this. Again, nums.toString dot get class. What exactly is this? I'll do one more thing. Dot get type name. Get type name. Okay. What exactly I'm trying to do? Don't get confused. It's simple. All right. So this was the first case where I was just printing out system.println nums. You got the value as 1000. All right. What I'm trying to determine by adding these two lines, not lines, but these two calls, is that I'm trying to figure it out that what exactly this nums is. What is it? From this declaration, you know it is an integer. But how do you prove that it is an integer? How do you prove that when it is printing what exactly it is? How do you prove that? So I say dot get class. Tell me what type are you? Dot get class, dot get type name. Again, nums.toString. I change the nums to a string, but how do you prove that it's a string? I said dot get class, dot get type name. Let's print this. One is integer, one is string.
Sorry, can I ask a question? So
Yeah.
where it says toString and then you see the two braces, one to open and one to close.
Yeah.
What does that represent? And can you hold any
It's
kind of like
it's a method. It's a method. I have not spoken this is a method, this is a method, this is a method, right? So every one of these guys are a method, and we'll talk about the methods in the next class. I don't want to really confuse you guys. There are too many things to learn. It is not as I told you last week itself, it's not a magic pill. It takes time and patience. 4 months is what I'm giving you guys. I could have finished this whole training maybe within 2-3 months. 2 months. There are so many trainers out there who are trying to put all of it in 2 months. I don't do that because I understand that my students are learning this for the first time and they need, support, and they also have to be patient. Yeah, you need to be patient, and we'll take it slowly. There are too many things to learn. Programming is not easy task. It's not something like you read a book and you're done with it. It's not like that. It's a practice. The practice is the only thing that will make you perfect in this case. Okay. So nums is a variable. ToString is a method. Again, get class is a method. Get type name is a method. Question you can ask me is, how are they connected? How am I connecting them with a dot? It will take you to a different discussion altogether. And I can tell you all of it, but we need time for that. Anyways, so I think I will end my class today here. I won't go beyond this because it's already 9 p.m. I'm also slaughtered after the whole day. I'm pretty sure that you are too. So I will not be continuing beyond this. However, I will also not enable you with week number 2 if you don't insist. And I think it is in the best interest that we can take a pause and then we can come back to it next week to understand these three, four things. Today, the class was a little bit slower. One of the reasons is I believe that not everybody was able to pick up the topics from the previous live class, right? So I think, as I was saying, please be proactive and get started immediately, like from tomorrow, to look at whatever I taught you today and whatever is left out here. And then we come back next week and then we fix all of them, or we finish all of them. Yeah. Is that making sense, or do you want me to enable week number 2 and you want to cover it both?
That's perfect for me. I'm okay. I've done, the assignments that was given. So I've completed like 1 or 2 assignments, but I didn't know how to submit. So
yes, I will be sending a mail to you tomorrow morning, okay, or by end of the day today. In this, you will basically, I will send you a link for my Google Drive, okay, in which you have to upload it. All right.
So do we need to complete the whole, I think there are 10 in each class?
Yes.
Do we need to complete the whole 10 and upload together, or can we just upload as we do it? Like also
the idea is that per week, there will be around 30 assignments. Yeah. And before you come to the live class, you should be submitting them. That's the idea.
Okay, so everything at once, isn't it? No.
Yes.
Okay. Oh,
yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Ben, what do you think? This was our first summary class. What do you think?
Yeah, I would like to continue with the first week. Even though I've completed it, I still want to just kind of like go over it again, just to make sure I'm, understanding clearly.
Okay, perfect. Good stuff. Fola, what about you?
Yes, definitely. I think it'd be good to work on completing this first week. Okay. Hopefully, there's still some areas I need brushing up on. So
totally. Yeah. But we won't be doing this very often. This is the first class. I'm sure that you guys probably didn't understand the depth of it, and then we are taking a break at the very early stage. That's totally fine. But from next week onwards, I will be talking again about these topics of first week, and then I will enable you straight away for week number 2. And expectation is that you will get started with week number 2 immediately, because we have to progress the course as well. Okay. How about Madhu? Madhu, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, so I'd like to go with the big one.
Okay.
Finish all the video stuff with the class 3.
Yeah. So now I hope you understand that it is very important that you immediately get started after the live class.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understood it now. Like you said, I didn't understand the depth. I thought I'll be able to finish it, but when I started on Monday, now I know, yeah, I missed 2 days. So
Yeah.
I'll start.
Good. Ifani, what about you?
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. We take it slow and steady. But the this record, will you upload them?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you the YouTube link, and
Okay.
then you can refer that as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nikki, how are things?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's good to take the first week slow and ease into it, and then speed up then when
Very
we're
good.
all up to speed.
Very good. All right, Rita.
Yeah, likewise. I think it would be good to just really reinforce some of the concepts before moving on.
Ronan, are you okay with that?
Yeah, no, I'm same. Yeah.
Perfect. Very good. Vaishali, I think you're okay with that as well. Okay. So, all right, guys, let's come back next weekend. I mean next Friday, and just continue from here on. Have a great week ahead, guys. Use Saturday, Sunday fully in the training. Anusha, I hope you're jumping back again.
Yes, Souvik. So it's kind of revision for me. I reran the programs once again, so everything was installed now. So I'm feeling good that I'm getting the grip slowly. Yeah, as we progress.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So let's come back next Friday and take it from here. Okay.
See you. Have a good weekend.
You too, guys. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers, Civic. Thanks so
Happy
much.
learning, guys. Happy learning. Bye bye.